morning. Today we're going to be working with the introduction of the Crucible. And as we know, we already have the background of the Manhattan Project. We have the background of the Cold War. You know that in the United States there were tremendous fear about possible communist people inside the State Department, in particular in the U.S. Okay. During the Cold War, there's something that was created in the United States, and it was called the Red Scare. The Red Scare was a movement led by Senator Joseph McCarthy. Joseph McCarthy. He's a leader of the Red Scare. And this guy is going to say that he had apparently a list of around 205 people from the State Department that were communist. These people eventually lost their jobs, their reputation was damaged, so they had a lot of difficulties. Two of the areas in the US where they were really, not two of the areas, one of the areas in particular that was really affected by this was, besides the State Department, the industry of entertainment. We know that in the United States we have two sides of entertainment. There are similar but not the same. In the West Coast, what do we have in the West Coast? Hollywood. Hollywood, we know that we have movies and everything that's focused in Hollywood, California. And on the East Coast, what do we have? On the East Coast, starts with a B. New York. Broadway. So we have West Coast, we have Hollywood, and East Coast, we have Broadway. So those are the two powerhouses of entertainment in the United States. Okay. Friends from Arthur Miller were affected about this Red Scare, and they were accused of communism. Because of this, and what was happening in the Cold War, and what happened also in the mass hysteria in 1692, that was when they were accusing witches of possible witchcraft, and a lot of them were either hanged or what else? Burned. And that's something that happened all the way through 1692 in Salem, Massachusetts. So, if you go back 1692, then you're going to see this witch hunt hysteria. They make trials in which they accuse people of possible witchcraft. And, well, in this case, it was all orally. For example, if I accuse you of witchcraft, the spot was going to be on top of you. But if you all of a sudden say, I want the help of God, and start accusing other people from this side, then the focus will go to those people, and on and on. And there was a time of instability in Salem, Massachusetts, with those trials of the mass hunt hysteria. Okay. Arthur Miller is going to be interested in two things in his play. Number one, about the witch hunt hysteria of 1692, and also about a love story. So basically, he's going to combine the hunt hysteria of the witches. He's going to combine it with a love story. Okay, and that's how our plot will develop in our play. We're going to have a love story. We're going to have accusations of witches. We're going to have witchcraft. We're going to have a lot of God mentioned here. We're going to be mentioning a lot of the devil here. Because if you go past the sinners in the hands of an angry God, the fear that the people of Massachusetts had of the devil was big time, and therefore they were very tied to God. Okay, and Massachusetts very tied up to God. Okay. Also, what I said on the sinners in the hands of an angry God about eschatology, that is what happens after you die. Then we had the cyclical view. We also have the linear view. We talk about that also. Very important that you guys don't lose that information. You're going to need it for this one. The Crucible. Have you seen the movie Hocus Pocus? Hocus Pocus, you have the big cauldron. That's a crucible. Okay. That cauldron was used to melt either gold or melt other things, potions in witchcraft, but it has many uses. Okay. Another thing that is going to be watched in this play is going to be other two things. Number one, sociology. Sociology is nothing else than the way people behave. That's sociology. That's the easiest definition. Sociology, the way people behave. Psychology, the way the mind of the people behave. Two simple definitions. Sociology, how people behave. Psychology, how the mind of the individual or the people behave. Our love story is going to be between two people. Number one, the protagonist of our play, John Proctor. John Proctor. John Proctor will be the protagonist of our play. And the love story that happens here, and we have a debate if it was a really love story, so you're going to come to your conclusions at the end, was with Abigail Williams. So John Proctor and Abigail Williams are the two most relevant characters in our play. Two most relevant, two most important characters in our play. A lot of you are going to identify with John Proctor. A lot of you are going to hate Abigail Williams. Have you seen the movie Norbit?
Yes.
A lot of people have told me that the female character, female villain that they had hated the most was that female character called Rasputia. Remember that? Rasputia? That she was in that movie of Norbit. They say that Rasputia and Abigail Williams are right there, because when everyone finishes reading the play, watching the movie, the character of Abigail Williams is a character that people really hate, big time. Okay, and you're gonna come to your conclusions. So, Abigail Williams used to work for Elizabeth Proctor, that is a wife of John Proctor. Okay, John Proctor protagonist. He has a wife. It's Elizabeth Proctor. Abigail Williams worked with the Proctors. However, John Proctor and Abigail Williams are going to have an affair. John Proctor and Abigail Williams are going to have an affair. And as a consequence of that affair, Abigail Williams will be fired by Elizabeth Proctor, or it is also referenced as Goody Proctor. Okay, so Goody Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor are the same person. Okay, and this is going to build up a chain of events with Abigail Williams, because Abigail Williams is going to have that feeling that I want to be with John Proctor. Remember, they have an affair. Apparently they have intimacy. And Abigail Williams got very sticked to John Proctor. Now, it will be your debate to end up and know if either she was in love with him or she was obsessed with him. You gotta come up to that conclusion. The reputation of a lot of people is gonna be messed up in this play. Of a lot of people are gonna be killed because of the witchcraft. A lot of people are going to be accused of witchcraft because of the things that are happening. In our play, you're going to see that, for example, if you have 100 acres of land and I'm your neighbor and I want those 100 acres, I accused you of witchcraft to get those 100 acres. And there were people that they got land doing that, accusing others. Okay? Now I'm gonna ask a question, and the debate here is, so think about it, and then you give me your answer. Does reputation, or not does reputation, is reputation important for us as an individual? Because I could build a reputation here, and I could build a reputation at home. Why? I could behave in a way here in school, have a reputation in the school community, and at home behave differently and have around my family another reputation. And then if I move to China, start working there, get my colleagues and everything, I get a new reputation. So since you're not with different people, therefore you're gonna build different reputations. After you get out of high school, if in 20 years you guys meet up again, and let's say, 20 years, our class wants to get together, all of you are going to be remember how you are remembered right now, and that is a fact. It is a fact. Even though you have grown up and become a doctor or become a lawyer or whatever, your high school reputation is going to continue. It's a reality. It's a fact. And when you go to college, you're going to build a new reputation because you're going to be around new people, and on and on. And that's how everything is going to be created. Okay? So very important to know two characters, Elizabeth Proctor, Abigail Williams and John Proctor. We have other characters. Elizabeth Proctor, that is a wife of John Proctor. Reverend Paris. And if you look at your book in 1125, you're going to see the list of characters. But that list of characters does not give you a description. Therefore, I'm going to try my best to give you that description. I'm going to use your book right here. Reverend Paris is a reverend of Salem. And the guy is the uncle of Abigail Williams. This guy has a daughter called Betty. Betty is the daughter of Paris. We're okay so far? Good. Therefore, Betty and Abigail are what? Cousins. Other characters that we have from the town. Mr. and Mrs. Putnam. Mr. and Mrs. Putnam are very respectable people from the town, and they also have a daughter named Ruth. Ruth. So we have Mrs. and Mr. Putnam and Ruth.
Mr. is Thomas
Putnam, yeah. Mercy Lewis, Mary Warren, those girls are associated because before everything happened, Reverend Paris is going to see Abigail Williams and several of the girls, including Ruth, Betty, in the forest dancing. And they were dancing in the forest, and one of the girls was naked in the forest. Later on, we're going to know what they were doing in the forest. However, out of this conjuring or whatever they were doing, we're going to find out that they were conjuring spirits out of that dancing. And two girls are going to go unconscious after Paris saw the girls in the forest out of that shock. Number one, Ruth, and number two, Betty. They're going to be unconscious. So when the play opens, you're gonna find both unconscious. Rebecca Nurse. Rebecca Nurse is an old woman, very respectable woman in the town for her good deeds. She's a good person. And people from other towns know about her good deeds and respect her. Okay? Reverend John Hale is a reverend from another town, but this guy's going to be brought to Salem, Massachusetts to help out in the witchcraft that is involving the girls. Reverend Hale is a reverend from another town, and they're going to bring him to Salem to help out in the witchcraft. And out of all of the accusations, they're going to bring Deputy Governor Danforth, that is the one with the highest authority to accuse people. And Judge Hawthorne. Those are the two powerful authorities in regards to witchcraft. Okay? So basically you have an insight of what was happening at the moment. Okay. So basically that will be it with the introduction of the Crucible.